Hello there, Mama B here. I'm going to give you another really cool tip. Okay, so you want to go to soapcalc.net. You should end up here. Once you get here, you're going to want to create your own recipe. Okay, so you could just use, for example, just olive oil if you want, or you could use just um, they should have lard in here too. Yeah, lard. That makes a pretty good soap as well. But what this is going to do is it's going to help you make a decision if you want conditioning, cleansing, and it explains everything here. You see, when you highlight over it, it'll explain lots of information, how to get started, and then it'll say detailed instructions. So these are really great tips. And what it does is it'll help you create a recipe that you want, maybe with what you already have at home, so it doesn't have to be expensive. So let's go with one that's not too expensive, okay? So for example, um, I'll say what I already have in my home. So I do have, for example, almond oil. Go to the next one. I have at home um, coconut oil. So I have this one. So you add it here. And lastly, let's go with olive oil, which I always have at home. So olive oil, put that here. Right? So then what you want to do on this side is you want to give it an idea of how much you want. So I personally would like, say, maybe 20% of coconut oil, and then let's say 30% of almond oil, and then 50% of olive oil. Okay? Now that should add up to 100. So when you go to calculate recipe, boom, you see? So that equals 1 pound, and that's 100% of my recipe. On this side, it's going to explain all the different conditionings or qualities of your soap. So once you're done this, you can go to view or print recipe. So let's go ahead and do that. There you go. So you could put your recipe name up here, your soap recipe. And then here it's going to explain to you that you have 38%. So this is just basic, okay? So once you get more experience, you're going to say, okay, well, I don't want as much super fat or I don't want as much water, this kind of thing. So when you go over to this side, it's going to explain how much of each you need. So I only need, for example, I usually use grams. So I would need 172.36 grams of water, 62.65 grams of lye, and then 453.59 grams of oils altogether because it calculated it. And then I only want 14.18 of the fragrance. When you come down further, it explains exactly how much oil. So I'm going to take 136.08 of almond oil, 90.72 of coconut oil, and 226.80 of olive oil. So when I mix all these together with my lye, which is up here, this is going to make a perfect bar of soap. If you decide like, okay, well, how hard is it going to be? Look at the hardness is below. So it's not going to have hardness. It's going to actually be quite soft. Cleansing. Okay. Cleansing is 13 because it's not extremely a recipe for like super maybe if you're a mechanic or something, it may not work as well because the cleansing is low because it's more for conditioning. Look at the conditioning, it's at 70. Look at the bubbles, is only at 13. So it's not about being bubbly, it's not about being cleansing, it's more for conditioning. Creamy is at 13. And then the rest, you'd have to look it up and see exactly what everything means. But on this side, I would put down, oh, I also put in, for example, lavender leaves. Or on this side, I could put down It was important for me to have this recipe for my cousin Sue, or for example, okay? So it's a great, fun way to make any recipe you want. So let's just change this quickly, and we'll change it to, just for fun, let's put this at 30 and bring this down to 40. That's still 100. Calculate recipe, view and print. So now the hardness jumped up to 33. The cleansing jumped up to 20. Conditioning, 63. So it's a little less, but not a lot. Bubbles, look at that, 20. And then creamy is still at 13. So if you wanted it more creamy, you'd have to go do the same thing. You'd have to look them up, and find out what oil would help make it more creamy. So this is fun. I don't know if you've ever made your own soap before. It is very dangerous if you've never done it ever. So my recommendation would be go to brendadoucet.com, and then when you get here, you're going to want to go to soap making tips. When you get here, I want you to go to soap making safety first. There's that one. There should be another one. Let's go to here for a second. I think it's with Katie. Yes, it is. Okay, so it's with Katie Carson. Really important that you go here and understand the basics, the safety of making soap. All right. So I hope this video was helpful. It was great tips. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can to reply to you. Again, it's Mama B with Tips by Mama B. Have a great day, guys. Bye.